Today I want to talk to you about being inspired. You know, it's tough to be inspired when you live real life. The fact of the matter is there's a lot of things in our society that just are grabbing at you and your attention, and a lot of it is not real positive, folks. If you are into the news cycle at all, you are inundated with this corruption, that scandal, this FBI this, that old tape that, and everything else. Folks, it's tough to be inspired unless you know Jesus. I'm Jeff Johnson, and this is The Bottom Line. This is The Bottom Line for October 30th, 2016. Be inspired. Well, this is the last segment of the B series, and I want to talk to you about this whole idea of what it means to be inspired. I believe that Christ, when he says, you know, the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I've come to give you life and life to the full. Well, you know what? I believe it. And not believe it because he said it per se, that's the old saying, but I believe it because I've experienced it. And because I've experienced it, I know not only is it true for my life, it can be true for your life. But it's so hard to move forward because there are things that are going on. There's some mindset, there's some things going on in our life that are very, very tough. First, we have to battle the human nature that's going on inside of us, as well as the spiritual nature that's going on in us. And in Romans chapter 7 and 8, this is what Paul is talking about. And the good news is that the Spirit can win. The Spirit has the power to break through all the negative stuff, even all the things that we carry in our past or in our present, and certainly this one. It's hard to be inspired when you live off the opinion of others. You know, I meet people that are like professional counselors, or they always seek professional counsel from so many people, and they go from person to person to person until they get to what they want to hear. And folks, I got to tell you, in order to be inspired, we need to learn to hear from God Himself. As we walk through this B series, perhaps one of the most strong statements in all of this is that God has enabled you to be exactly what He wants you to be. All the tools that you have or that you need, you already have. You don't have to go buy another book today. You don't have to do this or that. You just need to get into God's presence. And that's where inspiration happens. You know, I don't know about you, but the whole idea of having peaceful prayer every day is absolutely paramount. It is the top of my priority list each and every day. And on the odd occasion that I miss that, oh my goodness, I feel like I've gone outside and I'm missing an arm or something is missing in my life. Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to live an inspired life, then you need to find yourself in the presence of an inspiring God. You need to find yourself in a place where you are just, you're saying stuff like this, be still and know that I am God. Taking every thought captive and making them obedient to Christ. Folks, I'm telling you, to be inspired, it starts with being in God's presence. And as you move from God's presence in your day and you go into your day, then I want to challenge you to live in close proximity to inspirational people. There are so many people in our lives that are negative, or they want to tell you something about somebody else, and they've always got something down, the whole world's against them and everything else. And I get that sometimes we have to come alongside, and it's an opportunity to minister, but some people are just chronic complainers. And I'm telling you, it's hard to live an inspirational life when you hang around chronic complainers. You need to be able to rise above that. And again, it's not that you cut people off, but you have to recognize that when you have all this negative coming into your life, then you have to diffuse it somehow. And one of the best ways to do that is to surround yourself with inspirational people. And the other side of this is that you need to choose positive thoughts. You know, there are so many things that God's Word says about you that we live in contradictory to. You know, if God is for us, who can be against us? You want to argue with that today? What excuse are you going to throw up in that regard? Folks, I'm telling you, God is for you today. Never will He leave you or forsake you. And these are the truths of the Word. So when He says, I've come to give you life and give it to the full, then you know what? You need to bank on that. You need to live in that. You need that to allow to inspire you, to plant good seed in your life, and that to bear fruit. You know, God doesn't just throw these things out to kind of, like salve, you know, just kind of pulling you along and just putting a little patch on your faith. No, He gives you these things so you can grab onto them, make them foundational in your spirit, and move on into the power of knowing Him in an inspirational way. Folks, there are so many things going on today that causes us to look left when we should be looking right, and everything else in between. I'm telling you, if we prioritize, find our inspiration from the things of God, and allow that to permeate our very being, then you can live inspired even in these days. Hey, I'm Jeff Johnson, and thank you for tuning in to The Bottom Line this week. Would you do me a favor, please, and would you share this on Facebook? As you get these out, this ends up going all over the world. Very powerful thing. You can help others know inspiration just by simply sharing. God bless you, and thanks for tuning in to The Bottom Line.